I try to sit back and I try to look at things and analyze it. I think that's what normal people do. You don't just dive in head first. When I was young, when I was a child, I used to dive in things and go head first. Make so many mistakes. Even sometimes in my 20s and 30s, I did the same thing. And because never learned anything, never was taught anything. But over time, I had to do research on my own. I'm very astute when it comes to research. I love research. So tonight, I want to talk about a poster a young gentleman raised up. And I'm going to read it to you. And it says, "Dear white people, thanks for marching, but somebody still has to pay for the crimes of your ancestors." What does that mean to you? To some, that means that they want to get reparations out of it. They've been done wrong in this society. Every dang on thing is blamed on Caucasian people. Once again, this big old melting pot called America is a gift that keeps on giving when it comes to division in this country. I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a damn. I'm going to say it right now. As long as you have the so-called white man and the so-called black man in the same country, like America, there will always be a division. And the reason is you can't have black without white. You can't have white without black. Because we put so much emphasis on those two names and two colors. You always hear that blacks hate America, how America is so racist. But when you ask for solutions, you won't hear it. You say, "Hey, where are you from?" They say, "I'm from Texas." No, that's not what I'm talking about. What is your heritage? Wherever your heritage, then, brother, why don't you go to it? Because America was made of immigrants, including so-called Africans, if that's where you want to go with it. So when you hear these things, people throw signs up, make everything a racial thing, especially black people. We love the word. It's like we love that word. We love to make everything racial. We just do. We love to make it racial. Without racism, black folks have nothing to complain about. White people sit and say, we hear you, okay, But you never hear a white person say, "What is your solution and what do you want?" You ask a black person, "We want reparation. How much do you think you get?" I don't know. So, do you know if your heritage were of African descent and were they slaves? Yeah, I'm black, ain't I? No, just because you're black, that doesn't mean anything. Black is not a culture. It's a color. What is your culture? What is your lineage? Where are you from? What is your heritage? That is the $1 million question no one seems to answer. So when I read a sign that says "Dear white people," that tells me you really have something to say against white people. And then this goes on and says, "Thanks for marching," which tells me they are talking about the liberal Caucasians, especially the liberal Caucasian females. They love to march. And guess who marched along with these white women back in the 30s and 40s, 50s, and 60s and 70s? so-called black women. They did too. And then when you talk about ancestors, what do you mean? Can we get a definition of the person or the people that you're talking about that so-called is oppressing you? Do you know if they own slaves or not? How do you know? Maybe this person was their heritage was Irish, French, Russian. Did you know that 90% of Caucasians in this country never owned slaves? They were immigrants. Their family heritage goes over in Europe. And guess who else were immigrants of Europe too? Black people. So, once again, if you're going to come up with a sign like this, which I'm quite sure that sign was marked by him, but pushed by liberals, especially the liberal Caucasians. Someone should ask those same liberal Caucasians, what are you going to do and help pay back for the crimes of your ancestors? I guarantee you, you're going to get a stone cold look on their face like, I had nothing to do with it. Who, me? I had nothing to do with it. I'm here marching with you. I love you, brother. And what do you think the brother man's going to say? Alright, man, you cool. You cool peoples. You straight dog. Thanks, man. Whew. Because all I got is $5. For real? $5, that's all you got? Man, that's all I got. And guess what? More than half America, all they got is $5 in their pocket. And I promise you this, they showing the hell ain't going to give it to you, nor should they. So once again, when you see signs like that, somebody ask that brother, when you talk about white people, who are you talking about? You say thanks for marching. Have you asked the people that march with you what you want, how much, and what is the percentage? And last but not least, what makes you think that you deserve reparations if you don't know your heritage or where you come from? Once again, just because you are black does not mean you are from Africa. So once again, someone has to ask those questions to him. And when you say ancestors, what are the percentage of who owned slaves? Yes, black folks owned slaves too. And if you ask that person what their heritage is, would you like the answer that they give you? Or would you argue them down? How are you going to argue a person who know where they come from and where their ancestry tree and their bloodline is? How you going to argue with them? You don't even know where you come from. So while we sitting up here talking about somebody paying back, somebody need to start asking questions. Somebody ask questions on that. There's a whole bunch of questions you can ask on that poster. Tons of them. And I guarantee you, he probably can't even answer any of them. So once again, do not fall into the trap of reparations from those that you don't know nothing about. Be very careful on what you ask for, because you might not like the answer that will be given to you.